Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center and I'm delighted to be on with Jonathan with his movie Happy Ending. Let's take a look at the clip. Jonathan, thank you, and thank your wife for bringing this incredible film to us, Happy Ending, and welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family. This film was, this was amazing. Like, I can't tell you how much this film was so powerful seeing it at our festival, but for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Thank you, Danny. Really excited and grateful to be a part of your festival.
Thank you.
We screened it yesterday, and it was such a wonderful experience. And you guys at this festival are really lovely. So
thank you. Man.
Thank you for that. The film is about a young Cambodian girl that comes to America seeking a better life for her and her family. And gets a job in an illicit massage parlor. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately finds that in order for her to really make money to send back to her family, she has to do certain things that she does not want to do.
Yeah.
And she comes to America carrying a tragic secret, which gets revealed in the film. And that trauma that she's suffered kind of entitles her to get what some people might call revenge on some of these clients that turn up to get things beyond the massage.
It's a powerful film, and as we said yesterday, very well acted. It was wonderfully written and wonderfully directed as well. Where did the inspiration come for you in making the film?
Thank you. So it was during the pandemic, and I was having immigration issues. I got served my deportation papers. And, I'm a middle-class white Englishman. I could afford an attorney to fight it, and I did eventually get my green card. And then it got me thinking, with friends that we have in and around Los Angeles, and the people that work for them, from the Central American landscape gardener to the Mexican dishwasher, to these Asian women that work in these massage parlors, that some are documented, some are undocumented, and then it started making me think, how stressful it was for me to potentially be getting kicked out of America and having to be separated from my wife and daughter. Thankfully, I had the means, I had to be able to fight my case. But if you're not in a position like that, how do you survive in this country when you have the fear of constantly being kicked out? So originally the idea was to conglomerate a few short stories where these characters would cross over, from the Guatemalan landscape gardener, who was a gentleman I met, and he was talking to me about having to leave his wife and daughter back in Guatemala. Hadn't seen them for 10 years because he crossed here, illegally, and if he left, it meant he wouldn't be able to get back. And originally we wanted to kind of do this feature of this love story between Chenda, who is our lead protagonist, our hero in Happy Ending.
She's amazing.
And feeling this isolation of being in this foreign country, having to do these things that she really doesn't want to do, but has to do to support her family. And the feature would have been this, this Guatemalan gardener, kind of them two crossing paths and this kind of love story happening between them. But then we realized, okay, this is our first film. This isn't really, we're not able to make a feature right now. So why don't we just focus on one of them? And then at the same time, this was 2020. There was a lot of Asian hate going on. Elodie, my wife and director of the film, she's mixed race. She's half Cambodian, half French. And her family in France, they were suffering from this Asian hate when COVID was happening.
Yeah.
And then there was the shootings in the massage parlor in Atlanta. I was like, okay, It really feels like we need to focus on this story and shed a little light here. And originally it was almost like a documentary take of it, like a little slice of life that no one really sees. Mm-hmm. And then we were like, well, we don't want to just make a documentary about this. We don't want to just kind of shine a light there. Like, let's tell a story with these characters. Like, yes, we want to represent the underrepresented, but let's also like tell a story that is going to shine a light, but also, you know, give us a beginning and a middle and an end, and also a satisfying end, hopefully, and move people and tell us, you know, an entertaining story as well at the same time.
Well, you did just that, and you and your wife made a fantastic story, and we'll get into your actors, who I thought were tremendous as well. You filmed actually part of this in Cambodia.
That's correct, yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, have you shot in Have you and your wife shot in Cambodia before?
No, I mean, we've been to Cambodia because some of Elodie's family is out there. And again, you know, when we're like, okay, let's make this short film. All right, let's try and raise some money for this short film. And then, okay, well, it's probably easy if we just go really tight and we just blur the background out, and then we say it's Cambodia, and then it's actually, we shot it in our back garden in LA. And like,
I love it, the mix of it.
Yeah, like this is not going to have the same feeling, the same effect. And we wanted to, if we're going to, Elodie really has a passion for telling Cambodian stories as well, because that's her heritage, that's where her father came from. And then we're like, well, how can we help the Cambodian industry a little bit? Well, why don't we try and shoot there? We have a contact with Anti-Archive, and David Shu knows Elodie and her work, and they spoke, and he says, look, if you come to Cambodia, we'll help you make this in Cambodia. And then Elodie said, okay, I want to go to Cambodia, so I'm going to go to Cambodia. Then it was persuading our DP to come to Cambodia, and he was like, I'll come to Cambodia too. So all of a sudden, this film, instead of it being a few days in LA, it's now 2 days filming in Cambodia, which was really nice, because it meant Chenda, Jasmine, the actress who I'm sure we'll talk about in a second, she got to go and revisit Cambodia. She hadn't been to Cambodia.
And she was Cambodian as well?
She's Cambodian American. She was born and raised in Long Beach, but you know, her family...
That must have been so special.
It was, and she got to meet the little girl that played her daughter, is Cambodian, and we got to employ and pay crew in Cambodia. So
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's special.
And it really, when you see the film, it really does add value to it. You really see the contrast of, like, you know, the urbanness of LA with like the beauty of Cambodia, you know. Yeah.
Well, let's go into your actors. My goodness me, like, I almost felt so real. I was watching a documentary. It was just, it was like, because it felt so and uncomfortably real. You know, because you know, even in, you know, other countries, other places, I often worry about the people that are in, like, we're surrounded by in these places and these establishments, what they may have to go through behind closed doors, and then the fear that's there. How did you bring firstly your lead, but like, how did you come about? Because she's an incredible actress.
Yes, she was, finding Jasmine, was finding our Chenda, was probably the hardest part of the process. Like, for the sleazy man, we had like 1,000 submissions. For like half a page of dialogue, you know, 1,000 men submitted. Very easy to cast like a sleazy middle-aged man, you know. There's a lot of us out there. But finding our Chenda, who had to be able to speak Khmer, had to be able to speak Cambodian, has to have Cambodian heritage, but be able to work in America. And Long Beach has a really great Cambodian community. We were able to raise funds by going to Long Beach and doing fundraisers within the Cambodian community. They really wanted to help Cambodian Americans, especially in the creative field. And so our casting director, Jessica Sherman, she put this out there, and we had like less than 30 submissions for the part of Chenda. And Jasmine was the very first tape that we saw. And just like in her performance, when, you know, I've seen the film a bunch of times, she still kind of puts my hairs go on end. And in her first audition, like, me and Elodie looked at each other, and we were both moved by her performance in this little self-tape on our little phone. And we were like, if we found her on the first tape, like, no, we can't have done. There must be, you know, let's keep looking. And there were some great people that auditioned, but when we met Jasmine in person, like, she was our Chenda.
Wow. This is also, I mean, aside from, you know, this is personal to you and your family in lots of ways, and also just observing what's around you in this country. And there's so many people that are going through so much. And this particular program, which was a celebration of, you know, of immigrants and how important it is to have these stories be seen. What did you, you know, taking out of your personal, making your story universal, what did you want your audience to sort of take from your film?
I suppose I wanted people to have an understanding of what goes on behind these massage parlors, and you never know if it's a real spa or if it is something sleazier, and it is all around the world. Like, what started my conversations was when I was shooting a film in Budapest, and I had this massage, and this thing was offered to me, and I started asking her questions of like, why and obviously I had to pay her for her, I paid her a good tip, and I saw her 3 or 4 times, and every time she would share about her background and why she's doing this, and so that was the inspiration, and that's kind of based on her character as Chenda, this woman that's like left her kids. The girl was actually Thai in this one, who I met in Budapest, and she was, she scraped together what money she has to send back to her kids in Cambodia, because the father's out of the equation. And then I started asking questions to her. Every time I go for a massage, I would ask like, hey, when I hear that they're not Americans, like, where are you from? Mainly from Thailand. Like, are your family here? No, I'm supporting them. I'm sending money back home. And I know that like they're having to do these things in order to support the family. And no one pays it any attention. We drive past these places all the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, you and your power couple, you and your wife now, obviously, but you've created your production company, Ugly Duckling Productions, which I will watch anything with that title. It sounds amazing. I love it. I just think of the story as well when I was growing up. How did that come about, and what kind of content and things are you making?
Oh, great question, Danny. Thanks. We're both actors. We made our living acting. We met at drama school 12 years ago.
One of the best drama schools called Lambda.
Thank you. Yeah, and we've made our living. We make our living doing acting, and it's great when we get to do it, but we don't get to choose when we do it. And then we started having these questions of like, well, how many times have we done a job that creatively are fulfilling, or with a director we want to work with, on a script that we really want to work with? How many times do we get all of that? And we've both done some really nice jobs, like some big jobs, Marvel movies, monster movies, and really great independent, good TV. But really, when do we get to do all of that at the same time? Well, we've never have done. And we don't get to control what the story is. We control what the character we're going to play is, but that's it. And we want to make our own stuff. And so this was our first step into doing it, Ugly Duckling Productions. Happy Ending is our first title under that banner, and we just want to keep creating, and keep things personal as well. I'm working on something that's very close to my heart with my dad, about my dad. I'm trying to tell a story about Elodie's dad. Elodie's dad was a Cambodian refugee, escaped the Cambodian genocide in the 70s, came to France, having lost all of his family, all of his brothers and sisters. And so we have got in development. It's called The Cambodian Cowboy, and it's a look at Elodie and her dad when she was a teenager, and they were growing up. And then we're going to change it and set it in Boston, because Boston's got a huge Cambodian community, and then hopefully go back to Cambodia and shoot there again.
Amazing. Well, listen, if this is the standard of the first film you've made on your production company, I'm so excited for the next films, and they sound fantastic films. I can't wait to watch them. But just want to say a big thank you to you all, for your whole team, for bringing this really important film to us, because I think aside from being, like most every film should be entertaining, it was very educational and very informative, and a very important film with important morals. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Danny. Thank you. NewFilmmakers Los Angeles. It's been a really awesome festival. So thanks.
Thank you, Jonathan, everybody.